Hi, everyone. We're going to be very informal again today. I like being informal. I'm with Yaron Flint. Yaron came out with a new book recently about networking. It's called Beyond Networking, Making Connections That Matter. Wow, second book. So how does that feel, Yaron?
Yeah, it's not a float anymore, right? I'm now people are taking me seriously. So, I think for me, it's like if you have something to share with the world and experience, just do it. And the more, as I feel that I have more to share, I will share.
Okay. Looking forward to the third book. I'm still working on the first. Takes me a while to get things done. So
Yeah.
Yaron doesn't need much of an introduction in Israel, and most people know him, and that attests to the power of his networking skills. Networking to me is a topic that a lot of people know a lot about and very little about at the same time. People think they know how to network, but yet I don't think they really do know how to network. It's kind of a strange topic. So let's go beyond ourselves. Let's become transcendental a bit. I don't take ourselves and put ourselves into another reality. And that reality is, what would you tell yourself, I don't know, 30 something years ago, just starting out in your career, 20 something years ago? What would you tell your younger self just starting out in networking? You don't have a network, you're just starting out in your career. What would you tell your younger self about networking that your younger self should know?
I would say it's okay not to have a network in that stage.
Mhm.
And a network is basically something that takes time. It's a marathon, and you need to have patience and build it right. So it's not a matter of how do I now create the most interesting and compelling list of people that could benefit me in the future. But in that stage of time, it's more about how do I gather and create relationship with people. I don't know where they were going to be in 15, 20 years, and maybe our path will cross again. So let's build it purposeful. So people will still remember me after 15 or 20 years. That's what I would tell myself. And have the patience. No need to rush into it.
Would you tell yourself anything different now that you published a book on networking?
Yeah, I think, again, when you think about network, I think there's a misuse of this name, a kind of an abusement to it. And people think of what's in it for me. They kind of like hop on a call wanting to understand immediately what's in it for them. And you can never know because things are very, very informal and can move in very directions. So you need to be strategic about it, no doubt. And you need to be meaningful about it. But you also need to keep yourself open for possibilities. It's kind of like having a goal in mind, but being very, very flexible along the way. So knowing exactly what you're trying to achieve, but being very, very open to the world in order to take the opportunities that come along.
So we'll talk about that cold calling. I have a few scenarios I want to bring up. So it goes from weird to less weird. So when I think about networking, I just want to know what you think about this analogy. I think people know what a computer network is. So in a computer network, each computer has to transfer over information and receive information from other computers. So if a computer is just receiving information, is not transferring its information over to other computers, then the other computers have to make up the slack. And they won't send to that computer. They'll have to send to other computers, and that's a problem. But then you can also think of it in the opposite direction. A computer that just gives information but doesn't take information, it's the same thing. It's also a problem that they have to make up the slack because the taking is also part of the picture. It's giving and receiving. So what do you think of that analogy?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, but I like to take it to the more basic area, which is basically a net, right? That's how it started from. And a net is only strong as, as the ties that you make them through, the knots, right? And that's the point. Basically, you need to make sure that every knot is really, really strong, that you can rely upon them. So that's kind of how I see networking. Networking, a value of a true network lies in the ability to really engage with your network and ask something from them, right? To do something together with them, to be active. If
Hmm?
it's just a list of contacts, it's just a list of contacts. So it's not just, what am I getting out of it? What am I giving back to it? It needs to be back and forth. It needs to be fluid. It needs to be meaningful. If a net doesn't work, it's not a network.
So I want to bring up a couple of methods, three of them, but I'm not sure the third one. We'll get there, but I'm not sure the third one is actually a method, but we'll discuss it because it's kind of new. So the first one is cold calling, and I want to read out three messages. I'm going to change the names, obviously. Let's start with the bizarre. These bizarre messages, these are people connecting to me on LinkedIn, mostly coming from the Far East, and they send me a connection request with the message. And the person says something like this: Hi, Naftali, I looked at your profile. Our company specializes in customizing precision parts from robots and medical. I think you will find great interest in purchasing from us for your needs. Your prompt response will be appreciated. So they're still waiting many months later for my prompt response. And obviously the person didn't look at my profile. So if they did, they would know it's not relevant. So I don't understand why these people send out these types of messages without making the effort to understand who they're sending these messages to. So what do you think about that one?
So I think exactly you nailed the point here. Basically, I don't believe in the term cold outreach. If you reach to someone, it shouldn't be cold. It needs to have some kind of a warm relationship to it. Either you do it through someone who knows you, both of you, and can make a warm introduction, or at least you spend the time to understand the other side's profile, needs, what is it looking for, and tailor the message uniquely to him so it doesn't feel generic. If someone on the other side feels this is generic, and even more so, like you gave the great example, that he feels that it's a waste of time because this guy clearly haven't read my profile, he would never respond. So why even spending the time and effort to do that? For a network to be meaningful, sorry, it's you need to spend the least amount of time and effort in order to make it work. Right? It's not a spray and pray. You can't hope that maybe I will hit someone and it will come back to me. No, no one will come back to you for a message like that.
Another somewhat bizarre message coming from Israel. It's very similar. The message starts like this. Hi, Naftali, we appreciate how much you're involved in funding deep tech companies and the amount of time needed to access funding. Firstly, I don't fund deep tech companies. Exactly. Obviously, the person didn't take a look at my profile. And we can help your company streamline the process in the European Union. Let's schedule a time to speak. That's another person I didn't answer because I don't have what to answer.
And that's exactly the point. It's people believe that spray and pray, and the more they send this, the higher the chances are that someone will reply to them. And it's the opposite way around. If you spend the time really researching the people you want to get to know, tailoring a message to them and sending to them, meaningfully, that increases the chance that someone will reply to.
I have an example which falls apart. So I'll read this example. It's a LinkedIn message that I received from a connection request in Israel, and I actually replied to this one. So I'm going to change the name, obviously. If there's any Janes out there that did this message, I apologize. I'm not here to insult you in any way. I just tried to think of a generic name for a person, so Jane. All right, the person started, Hi, Naftali. I'm an expert in tech marketing. I noticed what you're doing in the Israel Innovation Springboard, and I'd be happy to connect to learn more and discuss synergy. So this one got me to reply. And I replied, Hi, Jane. Thank you for your message. It looks like you're also doing some interesting things which overlap. Let's schedule a time to discuss. Her reply was, Hi, Naftali, great. My expertise is that I developed a system which will generate new leads for you. I'd love to tell you more about it. And that's when I stopped replying. So what happened there? What do you think happened there?
Basically, this person didn't expect or feel that the other side is sincere or answered that. Most likely, she felt that you're asking for more additional requests before you hop on the call. And that's the point, When you're a thief, you think everyone else is trying to cheat you. When you do cold outreach and to be very generic, you feel that you get generic replies as well. If you be meaningful to people, you'll start getting meaningful answers back, and that will create the whole, that will elevate the whole discussion. So most likely this person was very generic. She sent these kind of requests to many other people and got a lot of generic replies on none at all. And she thought, that's another generic reply that I got, not really understanding that this is a potential to really turn into something.
I agree with you. The best way forward is to get an intro, because then that's one person who knows you, who takes your concerns and your interests and introduces that to another person. That always has worked the best for me.
So I have to say that I agree and disagree in some ways, because a warm intro is always a good way to get forward. But I got some really nice tractions with people I had no connections to before, where I spend the time to learn about them and what they're looking for and tailor the message to them. When you tailor a message specifically to someone, he feels the warm connection and he inclines to reply. Specifically, if you're asking for his advice, his guidance, his support, something that he feels that, wow, I can really benefit this guy.
Agreed. That's also a much better way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the second aspect, which is social media. This is another way that people network today. And I want to play a video. You put this up on one of your posts a couple of weeks ago. And I'm sorry to those listening on audio. You can always see the video on YouTube. You'll hear the video, but you won't see it. So let me get my engineer to put it up. The engineer doing this had to go through an immense amount of networking to get this position. All right, so let me open the file.
Social networking is completely out of control these days, but do the things we do online make sense in real life? Let's take to the streets and find out.
Ma'am? Hi. I just want to let you know that I'm following you. Like, just giving you an alert.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything. Just know it and enjoy it. Jenna Kingsley is now following you. Just, like, do whatever and I'll just watch. Is that creepy? You want to poke me back? Wasn't that fun?
Yeah, this is weird though. I don't even know.
I know, but that's what you do, right?
Tom O'Donnell started working at McGuire Law Firm. Congratulate Tom, guys. Be team players. You guys are not supportive.
I want to endorse you for your coffee making skills.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So easy, I don't even know what it means, but it's the thing to do. Do you think you're going to endorse me too? Because I'm pretty good at it.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Hi guys. I was wondering if you would accept my friendship request.
Friendship what?
He looks really important with the whole button. Do you want to be connected?
Do you want to be connected? How do you want to be connected?
I just want to let you know that 12 people have viewed you. 12 people have viewed you on the subway.
What does that mean?
I don't know, you must be really important. They're viewing you. That guy chose to remain anonymous. 7 people have viewed you on the subway. Just checked into Grand Central Station. What's your name?
Andrew?
Jenna and Andrew have just checked into Grand Central Station. About 452 other people. I am getting so many views right now. I am. So cute. I have to share this with everybody. Do you want to comment on how cute this is?
This is cute.
I like your comment. Excuse me, sir. Can you introduce me to that guy that's sitting next to you?
This guy?
You're our 1 degree connection.
Okay.
So if you could introduce me.
All right, and your name is?
Jenna.
Excuse me? Hey, my friend over here, Jenna, she'd like me to introduce you to her. Oh.
I'm Jenna. I mean, we had him in common, so I figured I should meet you. And now we're all connected.
Okay, kind of makes you go, wow. You bring what people do online into the real world and it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think this is why it's timeless, right? We're talking about something that was launched 10 years ago, and it's still very relevant. That's the point, because when people do things without thinking, they think that by doing it through digital connections, it makes it easier, more, I don't know, more sticky. And you can just see it doesn't. I think it's really is a powerful video because it shows how little we think about the connections we are doing in the real world and even online, kind of doing it very casually and thinking that something will turn out of it. And this is kind of where I'm aiming in my book, that everything you do needs to be, at least strategically, you need to think about it and not just act and hope that something comes out of it.
Yeah. A lot of people chase after the number of impressions that they get on their LinkedIn posts and just don't understand why. I see the impressions on my posts, and some posts are good and some posts are not so good, but it doesn't really matter, because if it doesn't lead to a valuable connection, then what difference did you make to yourself or to somebody else? You just got a lot of popularity and nothing more than that. It didn't help anybody.
Exactly. And this is kind of coming back to the point that I start from. If you're not letting your network work and really trying to do something effective out of it, it's kind of meaningless. It's just a list of contacting.
Right. Let's talk about the third aspect, which I'm questioning if it's actually a networking method or not. I want to know what you think about it. It's AI. I recently, for my company, I programmed my own CRM. I figured I wanted something highly customized that works automatically for me. And within a week, I had something up and running using Claude Code. I never used it before, and it's amazing. But I'm thinking to myself, it also kind of disconnects people at the same time, because you don't get to interact with other software people. Saved me a lot of money, of course, which is great, but you don't get to interact with other people in the real world. And just want to ask you, it's a two-sided question. How is AI going to help people get closer together? And how is AI going to get people to be further apart?
So I think, first of all, I totally agree to what you said. I think we have never found it so easy to connect, yet more disconnected than ever, right? In so many cases. And the more AI and the more digital the world becomes, it kind of increases this feeling. And this is why the human aspect is so powerful, because people will react to something that is different. If everyone is chasing and doing it through digital frameworks, the human side of it will change or create the differentiation eventually. And you still working, you're not connecting to an AI or an agent, you're connecting to a human on the other side. And that's the important thing. An AI is a tool. It's not replacing humans as the connecting point on the other side. It enables you to take down the mundane and repetitive tasks that you want to do. So if you're meaningful about the networking and use AI in order to get more details about the people you want to interact with, to get broader perspective to more audiences, that's the right approach. If you're using it to kind of do things generic, it will never work, because you're basically turning that into the interaction with the other side. And no one wants to interact with a computer. No one wants to interact with AI. They want to interact with other human beings.
So it's quite strange that LinkedIn, for Claude, they don't allow Claude to go into LinkedIn or see the LinkedIn. However, there are workarounds. There's something called Appify, and you can create an MCP under Appify to get into LinkedIn. And then I've seen people that use the AI to scan connections in LinkedIn and use it for more cold calling, I would say, or using AI to generate their posts. So why do people do this? It just doesn't make sense to me.
So that's the stupid part. If you're spending so much time and effort in getting in touch with people who are relevant for you and making the effort to do so, why aren't you continuing this line of thought and making the additional effort to make the message more tailored, more suited to them? Why are you stopping, going back and defaulting to generic, right? So if you want to be meaningful and spend time and effort, connecting to people, do it the right way. Don't stop in the middle, or don't use the AI in the wrong way. Use it to get more data people, get more acquainted with them, and really create the human touch point.
Exactly. So, we discussed various methods, and part of what we're doing in the Springboard is involved in networking. We feel that within the U.S. and opening up more U.S. enterprises to work with Israel, that networking and warm intros from one person who knows us to another person in the company is the best way forward. Everyone on the team has their own ways of doing things, of course, but we think that that's the best way forward. And knocking on someone's door and saying, I have this solution, it doesn't attract me. I mean, I've had plenty of examples here. I gave a couple of them. There are more. It happens every couple of weeks. I get another one. And I think people need to step back and think and understand what they're doing. How would they feel if what they're doing and how they're reaching out to others, if others reached out to them the same way?
Exactly. And I think that's the key message here. Stop, think about what you're doing. Are you meaningful? Can you do things better, more efficient? And then do it.
Any ideas for the next book you're on?
Well, I'm starting now a course on business development in university. So I think this is a really interesting topic that is not addressed enough in entrepreneurship and MBA programs as a methodological approach. So I think that would be maybe my next kind of book. But I have a lot of great other ideas.
What the methodology for?
It's not only the methodology, but showing how business development is not just a bunch of actions that you're pulling together, like marketing and sales and things like that. It's a real holistic approach with a methodology behind it, with best practices that you can think about from a strategic point of view, putting it in the right framework and connecting it to the real world. So how do you, and I'll give you a very, very easy example. When I did my MBA program, we had a course about negotiation. And I came to the dean and said, you're teaching us about negotiation, but how do I get to the people I need to negotiate with? How do I find them? How do I interact with them? Why is no one teaching me this? This is more important to me than the negotiation skills. And he said, well, no one is doing that in MBA programs. And that's exactly the point. We need to think about how do we create the capabilities to advance yourself in the real world, rather than having a bunch of methodologies that okay, what am I doing with this tomorrow?
Isn't that also networking, what you just said?
Networking is part of it, by all means, and of course, but business development is more than that. It's how do you connect all the pieces together, and how do you analyze and understand where to go to. It's eventually how do I create or bring to life the strategy of the organization? Where am I heading? What am I doing with this? Part of this is interacting with other markets, with other human beings, of course, and that falls down into networking. But there's a whole layer of analyzing before and best practices after that doesn't really incline or has the need to interact with people. So it's a full-blown methodology that networking is definitely part of.
Great stuff. Can't wait to see it. Thanks, Yaron. Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.